So the title of this is Baking Brownies Speedrun, and I actually want to get into it right away because, guys, the new Stardew Valley video is almost done, but it's not done, and so I need to finish that, which means I need to edit, which means we need to bake. Anyways, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bake brownies today. It's gonna be really fun, really exciting. I'm like half following a recipe, half made it myself. Me, personally, I actually don't really like brownies. But I know that they are a lot of people's favorites, and I'm willing to give this recipe a try. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make brownies today. I'm starting off with a stick and a half of butter in a small pot, and we're gonna brown this butter. Yeah, we're gonna make brown butter brownies. I like cake brownies. I like cake brownies because I like cake and don't like brownies. So when a brownie is more like cake and less like a brownie, I enjoy it more. I've got my butter on low heat. We're gonna just melt it down and then slowly brown it. It's gonna be delish. It's gonna be great. Okay, I guess we can kind of start while our butter starts to brown. So in a big bowl, I'm gonna add 3 eggs. We're adding 1 3/4 cup of brown sugar. When you're using brown sugar, you're gonna wanna pack it. You're gonna wanna pack it into your freaking measuring cup. This is a lot of brown sugar. There's no white sugar in this recipe, so I bet that recipe's from America. We're baking brownies. There's obviously gonna be sugar in it. We have 3 eggs, a cup and 3/4 cup of brown sugar in here, and I'm gonna whisk it until it's nice and fluffy and smooth. And TikTok can't see me. Hey, TikTok. And yeah. For a second, I thought I used the wrong bowl, but I didn't. So we have our butter and our eggs creamed. 350. I'm preheating my oven to 350. And I have a 8 by 8 inch baking pan that we will be using. Okay, so the butter's gonna, wow, the butter is actually kind of fucking beautiful. I mean, freaking beautiful. It smells nutty. All right, I have brown butter. I want it to like cool as I'm pouring it. All right. To our brown butter, we are going to add 3/4 cup of cocoa powder. Adding the cocoa powder directly to the butter is a good way to bloom the chocolate. Sometimes chocolate desserts are very dry because cocoa powder sucks the moisture out of everything. And a good way to combat that is add moisture to the cocoa powder before you bake. I'm gonna take a spatula and I'm gonna mix the cocoa powder and the butter together. You know what else I'm gonna do that wasn't in the recipe is I'm gonna add like a teaspoon of instant coffee. All right, we're adding about a teaspoon of instant coffee. So we got our cocoa, our coffee, and our butter in a frickin' bowl. It smells good. It smells really good. Oh, I don't want to forget the vanilla. Just a freaking dash. Oh my god, I need new vanilla. What the heck? We got our vanilla, our chocolate, our coffee, all in this freaking bowl. I'm touching the sides to see how warm it is. It's still really warm, so I don't totally want to add it to the egg mixture yet. Because I don't want scrambled eggs in my brownies. I don't know about you guys. I don't really mess with scrambled eggs in my brownies. All that's really left is to combine these two and then add our flour in. And wow, it is really, really warm actually. Add our flour in and then we're done. Guys, I'm getting impatient, so I'm gonna slowly add my chocolate and butter mixture to my egg and sugar mixture. So that it's technically, isn't this called tempering technically? I just don't want it to, I want it to get to temperature. I don't want the butter to cook the eggs. I wish I had a third hand. That would be nice. I could have just put like a paper towel under. Surely it's not warm enough to cook the eggs, but you can never be too careful when you're baking. Okay, and also, after adding half of the mixture, it's probably brought the mixture up to temp. I'm gonna dump the rest in. You know, the last time I tried to make brownies, I like looked up cakey brownie recipe because for this millionth time, hi Axel, I like cakey brownies. This recipe should have just been called chocolate cake. Cause it was just chocolate cake. They were not brownie at all. It was just cake. It was like a brownie flavored cake. I don't know how to describe it. So I'm really hoping that this recipe is, well, based on the pictures, it's not like that. But also I am gonna add some baking powder because I do want it to be more cakey than it's like in the pictures, but not as cakey as it was. I think I'm only gonna add half a teaspoon. Not as cakey as it was the time when I did it that time. Anyways, I'm adding 3/4 cup of flour to our egg chocolate mix. I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. It's about yay much. And then I'm gonna add half a teaspoon of baking powder. The recipe does not call for it, but I want the brownies to be fluffier. I want them to rise and be fluffier. Axel! Well, too late now. Okay, I have all of my ingredients in. Well, almost all. I'm gonna give this a nice mix. Why is it so yuck? What happened? Remember when I was like, oh, I don't want the butter to heat up the eggs. The eggs cool down the butter. Check that out. Oh! It's actually good though. Usually brownie batters are thicker than like cake batters and stuff. I knew that when I was making those cakey brownies that like it was gonna be more cake than brownie because of how thin and runny the batter was. But at that point I had already made an entire batter, so I wasn't gonna stop. Okay, I have all my ingredients mixed up. Now here's what we're gonna do. I've had this bar of baking chocolate for so long. Doesn't expire till 2027. But I've had it for so long, and I figured we could just cut up half of it and put it in the brownie. Now my boyfriend doesn't really like when there's like chocolate chips and stuff and brownies. I don't care, I'm gonna put them in. I'm gonna take half the bar and I'm gonna chop it up and I'm gonna put it in the freaking batter. We're gonna chop up this chocolate bar and we're gonna try not to cut ourselves And it's gonna be fantastic. Man, people make cutting chocolate look so easy. What the hell? This is hard as dick.
Huh?
Alright. I have half a bar of chocolate cut into chunks. And also shavings, which are everywhere. And listen, I don't even think a cutting board would have stopped all of these chocolates. And I am using a lot of paper towels, and I apologize. Anyways. Half a bar of chocolate into the brownie mix. I'm mixing in the chocolate chunks into our batter. And then we're gonna grease our pan and get that in there. Once again, I don't have any pan. So I will be using just a nubbin of butter to grease my pan. Butter all over my hands. And if you're worried about how much I'm manhandling this butter, I washed my hands. And also it's going into an oven. Any spare germy gonna get absolutely incinerated. It's fine. Now, if I took my hand and just went, "You want butter?" and I shoved it in your mouth, then you could, like, probably call the police if someone does that to you, actually. I don't think that's normal. If someone comes up to you on the street with a handful of butter and just opens your lips and put it in, don't let that happen. Listen, okay, I missed like just a couple little spots. Kind of like rubbed it off with my finger, but it should be okay, because maybe the brownies won't even rise to that level and it'll be fine. I'm gonna scoop my brownie batter into this. I don't feel like doing the whole butter thing again. Oh my god, this... You know what? It might be easier to just... It's thick. I was never a lick the spoon kind of person. Tastes like brownie batter. We got our brownie batter in our pan. I'm gonna bake this for 25 minutes. We'll see how it comes out. The brownies are out of the oven. They're cooling. Brownies. I'm getting impatient. Kind of like rubbed it off with my finger, but it should be okay. Yeah, let's cut around the pan. Let's loosen the edges. That's the problem. Oh, this is our brownies, by the way. I feel like YouTube would like to see it. You can kind of see the 3 holes from where I shoved a toothpick in there. It could be that they're not fully baked. I like how we can see the stab wounds. I could feel it loosen. It's gonna stay upside down for a second. Okay, where's the halfway mark? Like there. Okey pokey, I cut my brownies. They're freaking cute. Just for you, I'll grab a real plate, not a paper plate. This is what we're looking like. Look at it. It's not too cakey, but it's cakey for sure, which is exactly what I wanted. You can see like the little chocolate, but you can't really, but in person you can see the chocolate in it. It's almost the same color as my shirt. Oh my God, I'm twinning with the brownie. All right, let's try it. I wish I had milk. I mean, it's a pretty good brownie. I don't like brownies. But I said that. I don't like brownies. It tastes like a brownie, but it is a cakier brownie, and that makes me happy. Guys, I freaking did it. Also, comment down below if you are a middle or an edge or a corner piece person. Me, for personally, I'm a middle person, I can't lie. Guys, I'll put the recipe in the Discord, and you guys can freaking make them for yourself and have such a good freaking fun time.